Welcome to ShadowMeTarot. Today we are going to go over the zodiac sign Aries. There are a lot of decks, oracle decks, and even tarot decks that are influenced quite a bit by astrology. And so I wanted to kind of take a little time to kind of research Aries and kind of put out all the information that is available to me through different decks, and kind of share it with you so that you are able to identify Aries in a reading as well. So first things first, let's get the shine off of those cards a little bit. It's kind of shiny. Okay, there we go. So just to start with, Aries is in the first house. It is the house of self-reliance. Embrace the self-starter in you and initiate your dream project. In the reverse of Aries, or in the first house, which Aries belongs to, it says make sure you are up to date on all of your medical tests and appointments. So this is going to be, if you were to get this card in this deck, the Fundamentals of Astrology, that would be the meaning of that particular card. So I'm going to go ahead and read about the first house. I'm going to read actually the meanings of all of these cards because they are all associated with Aries, and Aries is going to have different aspects of each one of them. So in the first house, this is a do-it-yourselfer, right? And is satisfied by doing it themselves. A snapshot is the first house is ruled by the sign of Aries and the planet Mars. The first house governs your personality, physical vitality, and conscious sense of self. It is the home of the ascendant, the degree that is rising on the eastern horizon at the exact time and location of your birth. Natal planets in this house reveal aspects of your personality and will also influence your overall vim and vigor. Jupiter will expand your public persona and act as a guardian angel when it comes to your health. Venus will enhance both your inner and outer beauty. Neptune will impart an ethereal quality to your personality, but can also make you more vulnerable to illness. During transits to this house, your personality and physical energy will be affected. Your desire to go it alone will also be stimulated. A Uranus transit may inspire you to change your appearance. Perhaps you will have a makeover, change your hair color, or have plastic surgery. A Mars transit will energize you to pursue your dream with confidence and zeal. It will also boost your immunity. A Saturn transit will bring you new levels of stability and authority. In a relationship readings, when your partner's planets fall in your first house, you will identify strongly with your partner and may even see him or her as an extension of yourself. Keep in mind, astrology is cyclical, and the first house of your natal chart always begins a new cycle. Anytime a planet enters this house, you have another chance to wipe the slate clean and begin again. For this reason, the first house is also known as the house of new beginnings. So as an inspirational card reading, if you were to get the first house, which is influenced by Aries, it says the DIY time. The first house is linked with both Aries and Mars. You have all the energy you need to get your projects off the ground. Collaboration will come later. Now is the time to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and do what needs to be done to take your singular vision to the next level. Embrace the self-starter in your initiate your dream project. Room to grow. In a relationship reading, the upright first house card may indicate that you or your partner is self-reliant and independent. Give each other plenty of room to explore individual pursuits. So in the upright, when you get an Aries card in the upright, you can automatically interpret it as this person is a self-starter, is an independent self-starter, and can get projects done on their own. In the reverse, it says the first house, along with the 6th, 8th, and 12th house, is a health house. The first house always represents new beginnings, so take this time to make sure you're up to date on all your medical tests and appointments. On my own, in a relationship reading, the reversed first house card may indicate that you or your partner is too self-involved to commit to a relationship. Issues such as teamwork and collaboration may have to be addressed in order to elevate the partnership to a true couple status. So this is just kind of the overall influence of the first house in a reading. And then if you kind of see, or if you notice kind of this kind of stuff, you're going to see that these are kind of attributes of the Aries. So the first house for this one, which is called the Celestial, there's an unboxing, but this is like a Celestial, I can't remember what it is. But what I like about this particular deck, and this is what it looks like from the back. I bought this deck on Etsy, and it has the company cards have been stuffed away into a bookcase that I probably would have to spend some time looking for in order to get you the exact name, but it is Celestial Oracle, I don't know, something like that, and it's found on Etsy. And there's also an unboxing of this this deck in the videos available on my channel. Okay, so the first house, just kind of a synopsis for this, because this is kind of just like it's just a guide to kind of help you get familiar with the astrology aspect of tarot. So the planet, this is just the male and the female counterparts of the first house. They say exactly the same thing, but the ruling sign is Aries. First impressions, this is a person who yeah, it's just first impression. This person is going to be self. It says personality, ego, identity, appearance, beginnings, attitude, approach to life. So this is just kind of an example when you're reading about the first house for different signs. Oftentimes the first house for a person is going to be their sun sign, and it's going to determine, like their different planets are going to determine, you know, what part of the first house is their zodiac. Please keep in mind that I'm kind of learning this stuff as we go along too. So I'm just sharing the information that I'm learning as well, so I can learn more about Aries. Now, before I go into more cards specific to Aries, I am going to read a little bit about Aries. So a lot of these books and stuff that I kind of get off of I get a lot of them off of Etsy. A lot of them are downloadable. This particular one is downloadable. It's kind of like a cheat sheet. Wands is what represents Aries, or Aries is represented by wands in the tarot. Its element is fire. The season is spring. Speed is usually rapidly, so like within days. So if you get this combination of these cards and you're talking about timing, if you get a number of wands, the speed of the timing is going to be within days. And wands are represented by Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. If you know about deacons, this here is going to, this here, like the Queen of Wands is Pisces, Aries, or I think it's just Pisces, Aries, and then March 11th through April 10th is Pisces and Aries. And then Mars in Aries is March 21st to the 30th. Sun in Aries is March 31st to April 10th. And Venus in Aries is April 11th to 20th. So if you're doing a timing reading, I'm just going to pull out, we're done with first house here. So let's go ahead and move that. And I want to get the regular Rider-Waite deck so that you can kind of see it. I didn't pull out the Queen, but I did not pull out the Queen, but we can just kind of skip the Queen. The Queen of Wands is Pisces and Aries, March 11th to April 10th. But Mars in Aries is this guy here. And if you are looking for timing and an outcome card, you'd be looking at March 21st to March 30th would be Mars and Aries in the springtime, and possibly days away, or that would just be kind of like the date you would find if you're asking a timing question. This is Sun in Aries, which is March 31st to April 10th. Then we have Venus in Aries, which is April 11th to April 20th. So I just kind of wanted to go over those really quick. And And then we're going to use this one, which is a little bit more in depth about Aries. So my printer kind of cut it off here, but that's the symbol for Aries. You can see this throughout different cards and card decks. Let's see, it's not on those. They actually have it here. This is a Two of Wands, and you can see like the, you can see like an Aries symbol right here. So this, and then you can also see the Mars symbol right here. So these are just kind of clues that when you look through different decks, you're able to kind of identify, or just kind of signal to you when you notice this, that perhaps there's an Aries sign that you're talking about in a reading. You can see the kind of the same thing here. There's an Aries here, but this is ruled by the sun. So that would be what we just read would indicate that this is in the third decan, or the Three of Wands here. And then we move on to, not that one, the Four of Wands. Again, we're seeing the Aries symbol right here, and then we've got another planetary symbol here, which is Venus. Venus in Aries. And because Venus is often associated with the feminine, or the divine feminine, I would, if I were to get this in a reading and I was seeing other symbols of Aries throughout it, like the Emperor or the Two of Wands and the Three of Wands or the Queen of Wands, I may think that this is a female energy. So that's just a way of interpreting it. So the glyph for Aries, as we kind of, is just kind of like this V, which is actually kind of like with like little horns on it. You can see that in this artwork as well. It's you can see the V in the actual goat that's in there. And some other symbols as well. But you're going to see Aries often associated with the planet Mars there. So the glyph for Aries represents rams. See, I said goat and it's a ram. Which, like the symbol for the ruling planet Mars, is symbolic of masculine energy, of action and determination. And then Mars is named after the Roman god of war, and we'll go over Mars a little bit too in some of these other cards. But Mars is named after the Roman god of war. The symbol associated with Mars represents the god of war. The god of war's shield and spear. The symbol is also used to represent male or masculine energy. Mars is a planet of action, energy, passion, drive, and determination. So let's kind of take a look if there's well, both of these cards have it. So here's the symbol for Mars. It's just kind of a circle with an arrow pointing upward. And you can see that on both of these cards to kind of indicate or give you clues in your tarot decks as to what planets might be ruling the reading, and what zodiac signs might be ruling the reading as well. And this can be just attributes of the sign in the reading for the time of the year. It can be a predictive tool for timing when something will occur. And then it can also identify people as being a particular sign. So the cardinal, which I don't know anything about, the cardinal is this symbol, which to me looks kind of like, it's this triangle symbol with the dot in there. And to me, that kind of looks like a Masonic influence, you know, how they build the pyramids kind of thing. And the cardinal represents, you know, the signs that are represented by the cardinal are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And initiates, assertive, self-starters, leaders, action. So the initiates are assertive, self-starters, and leaders. So that's kind of like a common thing that you can kind of anticipate for all signs that have a cardinal symbol. And I don't know if it's like rising or something like that, but maybe if you do know, put it in the comments. But you know, we can kind of determine that we already know that Aries is very much a self-starter just based on some of the other cards and you know, reading the first house there. So this is the symbol, and you'll see that in different decks represented, but you won't see it in all decks. I don't know how you would use the actual cardinal unless you were seeing this symbol in a reading or on a card. And I would automatically assume that this is an assertive person, a self-starter, and a leader, would be those things. If I had this paired, or if I had this symbol and it was paired with, like the Queen of Wands somewhere, then I would say that this is a female energy who is assertive, who's an assertive leader. So that's just kind of like an idea. As we move forward, the ram symbol of Aries is an ancient symbol of determination, action, initiative, and leadership. So there's definitely an overall theme for Aries as being, I just feel like, they are going to say, I am. I'm Scorpio. Scorpio says, I desire. I say, I want all the time. So I really find that these kind of keywords, that when you're talking about particular signs, that if you use the words I am, it's going to resonate more in the readings for an Aries, let's say, because it's something that they would use or in their own self-talk, the words I am. Then the birthstone is Aries is the diamond. It's symbolic of trust, power, commitment, love, and strength. And I wanted to just kind of pull that out so we're learning as much about Aries as possible. These are all Aries. So I wanted to pull out this one because it is, the diamond is the birthstone of Aries. It's giving us another attribute of Aries, that they're trustworthy, that they're powerful, that they're committed, that they love, and that they're, strong. And maybe they're committed to love. So let's kind of just read the definition of diamond. And the essential meaning is the priceless gift of time and pressure combined, beauty and strength arising from trials and challenges, and the right use of power. So I feel like an Aries person works well under pressure, right? They're able to take the lead, manage their time, and get the end result. And that would kind of lead into that I am a leader, I am a self-starter, and the other thing I just said that I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, here we go. Nope, that's not it. Where'd it go? All right, well, I guess we'll come back to it. But just, they're leaders, basically. They take action and the initiative. So I think that the diamond is also giving you a reinforcement. So if you're familiar with crystals, you can apply your crystal knowledge to the tarot for the 2, 3, and 4 of wands, as well as the Emperor card, which we're going to go over here shortly. So the meaning for this card, for diamonds, as co-creators with their fellow beings, we are meant to work together harmoniously, giving and receiving, taking turns and sharing the work, the credit, the fun, and the power of manifestation. Today you are called to claim your power and exercise it with respect and love for all, even those who are hard to love, especially those who challenge you. You never know what silent struggles people are hiding, and your ability to express love is magnified by Diamond Spirit today. So listen to that part of you that wants to be kind and understanding towards someone who is making it difficult for you to come from your highest self. Diamond Spirit has appeared to let you know that this is the moment to wield your power mindfully. You have earned wisdom over time as you have suffered much in your life, and now are in a place of maturity and understanding. Avoid being reactive, for there is strength in quiet. Loving gestures such as the willingness to listen or say, I am sorry that you are in this situation. Often it is these gentle actions that hold the most power. Your ability to move hearts is very strong right now, so even as you maintain healthy boundaries, make the choice to own your power and use it with wisdom and grace. In so doing, you align with the conscious universe, who knows the healing power of love and compassion. For relationships, the diamond is going to represent your ability to act lovingly, amplified, so in a strong way, and amplified by, you know, Diamond Spirit. You would be filled with love and capable of deep compassion, even as you speak the truth about how others' behaviors affect you. Use your power to set firm boundaries, to say no and mean it, to listen with an open heart and open mind before making a decision, and to express compassion without giving up your integrity. All this wells up from the wisdom you have earned from your previous challenges. You do know better now. At the same time, be sure you do not come on so strong that others feel intimidated. Forceful is not necessary. Pay attention to whether someone seems afraid to contradict you, for you might unwittingly be discouraged for them owning their power. Be loving, be strong, be compassionate, and exercise right use of power within everyone you connect with today. So some of these meanings, I would you'll find cards that actually have the diamond to represent Aries on the actual card. And when you do see that, the author or the artist has already incorporated some of the meanings of the diamond. And you can take that in terms of the relationship message, just, you know, basic messages about leadership, and maybe, you know, not being so stubborn, but approaching life with love and compassion. If you're using this in a career reading and this diamond kind of pops up, the prosperity message for this particular card in this deck, and again, you can use different card decks to kind of, and the meanings that you know, to influence your readings in tarot, because Spirit is going to give you the knowledge that you have access to, is going to kind of spark those memories and inspirations and knowledge in order to aid you in your reading. So if this was in a prosperity reading or career reading or money reading, the meaning would be: the right use of power means acknowledging your effect on others. Are you honoring yourself by insisting that you be paid what you are worth? Are you paying others a fair price for what they do for you? You have the power to negotiate, to set boundaries, and to wield your influence respectfully, recognizing that we are all meant to share in the universal flow of abundance. Today is a day to exercise the right use of power by honoring everyone's need to be treated fairly and experiencing prosperity. When you recognize how your prosperity impacts others, you will see the rate at which your dreams manifest increase exponentially, resulting in great abundance you can share. Truly, in singling you out today, Diamond Spirit has chosen well. So then the last meaning for this particular card is for the Crystal Spirit meditation. So if you're doing if you are an Aries and you are doing self-development, or you're doing kind of like a general guidance reading, where Spirit is kind of just talking and giving guidance to the person in front of you, or the questioner. Diamonds can be formed in the Earth's mantle, in a lab, or due to a collision of an asteroid with the Earth. However they come into being, they teach us that extreme pressure and hardship can transform even the most ordinary into something incredibly strong and beautiful. Diamond Spirit asks us to contemplate how something that felt unbearable may have actually assisted us become more fully who we are. Can you see how strong you are now? So I do kind of feel like Aries is a very determined, based on all of these kind of different meanings that are influencing, I feel like Aries is very much a sign that is hardworking, who's a leader, who takes action and perseveres until the very end. The first house of self, and we're going to go back to that because it's on this page here, which is a downloadable book that I got on Etsy. But it says the first house of the house of self, who am I, defines your personality and how you face the world outside. So I'm just kind of going back over that. Let's see. And then for Aries is definitely represented by the Emperor. And we know that the Emperor is kind of like an authority figure. And I'm going to go ahead and pull him out. So here's the regular major arcana Emperor. And then I'm going to pull out the Emperor. This is the Hermetic Tarot. And I pulled out I'm using different decks to kind of show the different symbolism that you can find, and how each of these artists are incorporating astrology into the meanings of their cards. So for example, this is a tarot card. Let me move these out of the way here. This is a tarot deck that's based on the Kabbalah, and you can see that Aries again is kind of represented here. We are getting into the Hebrew alphabet of, it's either Hey or Hi, and you can see that it is kind of like in the Tree of Life, and I don't know enough about the Tree of Life. It's something I'm still learning about, but you can see that it affects the, oh, I can never read these. I'm going to see if I can read it on the camera if I get close enough. No, it's too... Let's see if it's on this card, if it's more clear. Okay, it is more clear. This is another deck that is based on the Kabbalah. I got these decks from Etsy as well. It's actually the same artist who creates this, which is by Eugene Vinitsky. And that's where this card, or this card, is kind of coming from, is this particular deck. And again, I found this on Etsy, and you do get like this certification or certified, you know, deck number, like deck number 258 or something like that. So this one is correlated. So Aries is correlated with the Tiphareth of the Tree of Life, and it runs the life path 15. And again, if I knew more about it, I would tell you more about it, but at this time I don't know enough about the Tree of Life. I'm still kind of figuring that out. But like I said, I wanted to kind of just show the different symbolism that you can see. Every one of these cards has a representation of Aries. You see the ram here. This has got a garnet. So garnet is another stone for another birthstone for Aries. And in this one, it just says this is Aries refers to, in this card, intelligence. And you have to be intelligent in order to be a self-starter, to be a leader. And to be able to take action, and not just any action, the right action, right? And so Aries is Aries, you know, being the I am taking action, I am the leader, I am. They just boss up and kind of own whatever the activity is. So again, I wanted to kind of show you've got some rams here, and then we've got some more Hebrew letters up here. This one is based off of this is a Liberty deck, and it's kind of based off the Thoth Tarot. There's another deck here. So I just try to pull out the symbolism, and so that you can kind of look for these symbols in the different decks that you use in your readings. But if anything, hopefully this is just reinforcing that the Emperor is Aries, is represented by Aries, and Aries is going to probably have the most characteristics of the Emperor. So now in this particular deck, again, you have, and there's so much symbolism. There's so much symbolism in this deck. But again, we have the Aries here. We've got some sort of bird or eagle here. I often think of that in terms of truth. But that's more for like a raven. This looks more like an eagle. And I don't know off the top of my head what the meaning for an eagle is. So if you know that, you're welcome to put that into the comments. But I may see an eagle out in the world and think Emperor, and then maybe think of the attributes that the Emperor has. And if this is something that stands out to you, you might even mention an eagle. Did you see an eagle in your reading? Do you know what I'm saying? Or what do you have an affiliation with eagles? Or what does an eagle mean to you? But definitely, I think an eagle to me means kind of like freedom. And self-sufficiency, kind of, right? Because they seem kind of like loners a little bit, eagles to me. But you can see that there's I want to say that's a Rosicrucian cross. We've got another little, it looks like a Libra sign combined with a Capricorn sign there. And then we've got some of the planets and the moon phases up here as well. You see fire here because Aries is a fire sign. And then again, we've got more Hebrew letters and stuff here. So this is in fact a word. If you know what that word is, if you know the Hebrew language and you want to put that in the comments, you are welcome to let us know what the meaning of that particular word is. So this is, I'm just going to kind of go over the meanings of just the Emperor for these different decks. And I'm missing one of these Emperor cards here. So here's another one. This is from the Thoth Tarot. Again, you can see the rams kind of represented here. You can see the same Rosicrucian cross. And the Libertine Tarot is kind of very much associated, you can see, with the Thoth Tarot. It's just another interpretation of basically the same picture, because we've got this dog and a flag and the cross. And this looks more like a phoenix over here. So maybe perhaps this picture here is actually a picture of a phoenix rising from the ashes, being able to get knocked down, but having the ability to, get knocked down and then getting back up, having the fortitude and the perseverance to kind of get back up. I think that's all the Emperor cards I have in here. Yeah. Pretty sure. So I'm going to actually go through and just kind of read the short definitions for each of these cards, just kind of give you more depth to seeing the signs in a reading, or doing a reading for a specific sign, and how you can kind of use these attributes and characteristics to just give a more well-rounded reading. So the Emperor, in the upright, means father, authority, and structure. That's just the most basic meaning. Now, if it's in the reverse, this can mean like an abuse of power. So chaos, domination, controlling, those would be attributes of an Aries person who is out of alignment, right? This can be an attribute or an archetype of or characteristic of anyone, right? But it's going to be attributed with the negative sides or attributes that you would find or that are attributed to Aries. So we all have the capability of being the Emperor and having Aries qualities. But if you've got a lot of wands in your reading, and you've got the Emperor in your reading, and you've got like the Tower in your reading, which is Mars, or you've got a lot of Mars kind of throughout the reading, then you might be saying to yourself, you're working with an Emperor. And if he's in the reverse, then he might be like controlling, domineering kind of Emperor, either male or female, depending on the cards that are kind of coming up. So that's this Emperor here. Now, if we go into the Hermetic Tarot, where are my little books? Where's my books? Oh, here they are. Okay, so when we get into the Hermetic Tarot, the Emperor is defined as where did they put the major arcana in this book? I suppose I should have probably pulled it out. Okay, so the meaning of the Emperor for the Hermetic Tarot, which is kind of more based on the Thoth Tarot or Rosicrucian kind of tarot. But the Sun of Morning is what it's called. It has the Hebrew letter He, H-E-H. I believe over here it is spelled H-E-I, but I believe it's the same letter. And it says, window beneath the Emperor's left foot is a bee, the alchemical equivalent of the ram. 2 wild Himalayan rams, heads, one at the upper left and the other at the center right, relate to the sign of Aries, which appear at the right. Let's see if you're able to see that a little better. There we go. Get that a little clearer. So the Sun of Morning, the Hebrew letter He, which is also depicted here. It's just spelled differently as H-E-I instead of H-E-H, which I guess means window. It says beneath the Emperor's left foot is a bee, right there. the alchemical equivalent of the ram, 2 wild Himalayan ram's heads, one at the upper left and the other at the center right, relate to the sign of Aries, which appears at the right. The eagle and the flag combine to suggest a conqueror and the idea of authority. Supernatural powers are suggested at the top of the card by the celestial bodies that personify power, and also sudden, random, and violent activity. The orb surmounted by a Greek cross at the lower left signifies the energy has reached a successful end and that government and or governmental rule has been firmly established. Its meanings are war, conquest, victory, strife, worldly power, and ambition. In the reverse, it's ineffectiveness, immaturity, lack of strength. So you can see how the different philosophies and how these cards are developed over time using artists. They do have a similar foundation, but they draw upon their own interpretations. As you connect to spirit, you will also draw upon your own interpretations, and those are the ones that are right for you. When you get inspiration as to the Emperor really always means this for me, or the Emperor always means Aries for me, then that is what it's going to mean for you. There are some of us who identify, like I'm a Scorpio, and so I will identify oftentimes with the Queen of Wands, even though she's a fire sign and not a water sign, which Scorpio is typically represented by the King of Cups. But I personally identify with the Queen of Wands and some of her characteristics and attributes, which may be a result of my moon sign, rising sign, and whatnot. But you'll kind of find those things for yourself. This may mean less Aries to you and maybe another fire sign like Leo or what is the other fire sign? Leo or Sagittarius. So we can kind of glean that from these cards that Aries is active, ambitious, assertive, competitive, courageous, creative, enthusiastic, extroverted, free. Definitely free. I really feel like a sense of individuality when it comes to Aries, like a level of self-sufficiency, which automatically comes with a level of leadership, I think. So they can be self-assured, of course, and of course headstrong, impatient, be prideful, and maybe even quick-tempered when things aren't going in the way that they are maybe ordering everybody around to do. But likely Aries has got like the right idea. Let's see if there's some other information. Oh, this is the all right, well, this is different than what we're working on right now. So now we're going to move on to the Liberty and Thoth Tarot versions of these symbols. Here they're using an eagle. In this one on the shield here, they're using the phoenix. There's also a semblance of a rising phoenix on this shield as well, but I do feel like it's more detailed in this one. And you're able to discern rams in this picture and in this picture. And I would assume that Mars is in here somewhere. It's just not jumping out at me right away. So maybe it isn't in here. But there is like a Rosicrucian cross depicted here and here as well. And even in the Emperor from the Hermetic Tarot, you can see that the Rosicrucian cross is also represented there. And all of these guys were kind of from the same secret societies, and each of them made their, they were influencers in their own secret societies, and each of them did create these card decks as their own interpretations of what they were learning. All right, so for this card, the Liberty deck, the Emperor is defined as shower yourself with the water of power, achieving all possibility. And that's the only meaning that they have for that particular card. But again, this is based on the Thoth Tarot. So we'll go ahead and read the Thoth Tarot version of this same card. I did kind of choose these decks because I felt they were the most interesting in terms of depicting the Aries symbol. So here you've got another Aries sign here. There's another, I don't know if this is a Hebrew letter or some other letter from another language, but there is some other letter here that is being represented. So for the Emperor, in this card deck here, it means war, conquest, victory, strife, stability, power, originality, government, energy, ambition, ill-dignified, overweening pride, megalomania, rashness, and ill-tempered. So you're kind of seeing a theme throughout this particular card that you might be able to attribute to some of the characteristics of an Aries personality. Other definitions for the Emperor are, this card means government by means of two contrasting symbols. These are the ram, which when wild is solitary and courageous, and the lamb, which is docile and cowardly, and is in fact the ram tamed by authority. The posture typifies the alchemical sulfur, the fiery element of the universe. The red eagle represents the red tincture of the alchemist, which is the nature of gold. So I'm incorrect. This is a red eagle, not necessarily a phoenix. Again, he is seated according to tradition. His legs form a right angle, which is similar to the Hanged Man, but it is not in this particular, in the Rider-Waite deck that most of us are probably familiar with. His legs form a right angle, typifying rule through unyielding law and order. The goats behind him show he is governed by Aries, creative, dominating force. The bees on his costume may have originated from French tradition, but more probably they typify the bees of the secret doctrines in the Indian Upanishads. So we kind of get a little bit more insight as to this bee and how it is represented by Aries. And, you know, when you're out in nature, you may look at a bee and attribute it to some sort of like maybe sometimes aggressiveness or self-sufficiency, depending on what it is you're going through and whatever message that spirit is bringing you. So I always kind of like to take the influences of these different cards and kind of attribute those meanings and then go out into the world and look for those actual symbols, you know. Even the number 4 would be something to attribute to the sign of Aries. So he is governed by Aries. He's a creative, dominating force. The bees on his costume may have originated from French tradition, but more probably they typify the bees of the secret doctrines of the Indian Upanishads. The heraldic red eagle is fiery sulfur of alchemy. The lamb is possibly a reminiscence of the Knights Templar. The Emperor represents the 15th path of the Tree of Life. So I did want to kind of put that out and kind of show how it's related to the Hebrew letter of He. And it's spelled a couple of different ways. Here it's spelled H-E, and this is the same artist. And here it's spelled H-E-I. And other places that we've seen it spelled H-E-H. And then you've got Osiris here representing, this is a life symbol, this kind of little cross thing here, Egyptian cross thing. And then we've got the eagle represented here again. So I like that this particular artist is using so many references. See, we've got the window over here too, which you can interpret, as being closed or being able to look out of, or your unique vision of how you see the world. You're able to use it to see the world through this particular window. And then of course it's also kind of referencing the garnet here that has, which is another birthstone for Aries, other than the diamond. I was going to read those actually, before we kind of get into the minor arcana. For this particular deck, and kind of like how I've said already, I'm still learning about the Tree of Life and I don't have a grasp or a good understanding of it to really to really talk too much about it other than what I can read to you right now. So the Hebrew meaning for He is, or the Emperor is window. The tree of life is path 15. And it is the 15th path of the Sefer Yetzirah. I don't know what that means. If you do, kind of put it in the comments. Constituting intelligence. The 15th path is the constituting intelligence, so called because it constitutes the substance of creation and pure darkness. And then have spoken of these contemplations. It is that darkness spoken in the scripture Job 38. Job 38 and 9, maybe the 9th line, and thick darkness, a swaddling band for it. Sefer Yetzirah. The title of the tarot trumpet, the son of the morning, which is represented in the Hermetic Tarot, where they're calling it the son of the morning here. It's the son of the morning, chief among the mighty. The Kabbalistic correspondence, He means window in Hebrew. In those days when other sources of light had not yet appeared in the house, the window remained the main one. The windows themselves do not generate light, but only let the sun's rays through. The relationship with power, symbolized by the letter He, is passive from one point of view. On the other hand, they are active. In the same way as a window performs both passive and active functions, the emperor is as the personification of the highest earthly power, and its representation of power of an even higher order directly correlates with the function of the He path described above. The emperor is the highest of earthly rulers, surpassing all kings and subordinate to God alone. The astrological correspondence is Aries and the emperor are manifestations of the most powerful willpower. And willpower, perseverance, I think are similar in meaning, but definitely I feel like Aries is kind of a persevering, kind of stubborn. They're around. They're gonna go through it. Like I can get there because I'm gonna go through it. It's not the most. It is not the only energy of the beginning which sets everything in motion, but also the will necessary to change the course of things to achieve the desired result. The emperor is daring but not reckless. He combines not only the desire for order, a sober mind, discipline, a sense of responsibility, and pragmatism, but also their extremes: inertia, the desire to improve everything to infinity, a thirst for power, and despotism. And then the meaning is war, rivalry, struggle, and victory. So I really kind of feel like Aries goes after what they want. They fight for what they want. They'll struggle to get it, and they will invariably overcome. Is kind of how I feel about the Emperor for that particular deck. But overall, I think that the meanings are kind of coming together in the same fashion. Now, there's a lot of meanings and a lot of symbolism in this particular card, so we're going to go ahead and read this as well. And Aries, represented by the Emperor for this particular deck, still the same. The Hebrew meaning is window. The mystic numbers of the Sephiroth is 120. The Tree of Life path 15. And if you know anything about the Tree of Life path 15 and you want to put that in the comments, that would be greatly appreciated. So it's the path 15, according to this, is constituting intelligence. So Aries might say, I am intelligent. I am going after what I want, I will succeed, or I am successful. So the queen scale of color is red. So there's lots of kind of red in here. We've got the garnet here. The complete practical attribution of the Egyptian gods Isis, living beings, real and imaginary. Those are represented by the ram or the owl. The plants, real and imaginary, are the tiger lily, geranium, olive. The precious stones are the ruby and the diamond. Magical weapons are the horns, energy, the burin. Vegetable drugs are all cerebral excitants, so coffee, nicotine, those kinds of things. Magical powers of the consecrating things, transcendental morality, and the Greek alphabet. It's an E letter. It's this. This is the Greek alphabet here. So maybe that's something. There's a lot of languages represented in a lot of these decks. So Hebrew, Greek. So you kind of see different. I mean, to me, tarot is the pictorial history of humanity. We have an oral history. This is the pictorial history, and it has been passed down to some degree for thousands of years, all the way from Egyptian times. That's the first known use of some sort of card deck for divination, and it typically started the kind of more of a defined major arcana was developed, I believe, in either France or Italy in about 1400. But prior to that, the cards did exist, and they used these kind of similar. They had these similar attributes for each of the cards. So suggested correspondences from Hebrew alphabet. The mother is the daughter is the mother. The title of the tarot trump, son of the morning, chief among the mighty. The 15th path is constituting intelligence, so called because it constitutes the substance of creation in pure darkness. And then I've spoken of these contemplations. It is that darkness spoken in the scripture of Job, and thick darkness and swaddling band for it. So this is the same artist. He's basically saying the same exact thing. But basically constituting intelligence, which he's got here, constituting intelligence, which is the 15th path, that it assists in the building up of the light of Tiphareth, which is the center here of the Tree of Life. And I do really wish I knew more about that because I believe that each of those points are kind of in the body. So building up the light of Tiphareth from the utter darkness of this supernal triangle, as rational genetic structure directs the rising of the planet from the intense darkness of the earth. The meaning of the letter He is the window. The window unites and separates the internal and external at the same time. The meaning is war, rivalry, struggle, and victory. So that kind of takes care of those cards. When we look at the celestial version of Aries, and this is just kind of like a starter deck in order introduction into astrology that is available on Etsy. But Aries is represented by the Emperor. The celestial body is Mars, and its attributes. The attributes are willpower, impulse, passion, bravery, determination, confidence, and ambition. So any of those attributes that you're able to kind of memorize, I would probably take with me willpower or determination. I would take those kind of attributes with me as I'm talking about Aries, because we know that Aries just kind of pushes through. So I'm going to have that as a general theme of willpower in any Aries reading that I do. I do have some other cards that I want to go over. So for the astrology book, so I'm just kind of using these cards as a guide to kind of expand even my own learning about astrology as it relates to the tarot, and how you can kind of just use the different symbolism to kind of pick out Aries references in the tarot, and maybe even some characteristics that Aries embodies in describing other people in the tarot, because we all have these attributes that Aries has. It's just to what degree do we have them. So it can just be a way of describing a person and those attributes rather than being specifically an Aries or fire sign. So and it can also mean like a time period too. So we're gonna go ahead and read this book for Aries. The card itself says new beginnings. Let's go ahead and pull it close and pull it in here. There we go. And it says for the new beginnings, actions you take now will yield swift results. Charge ahead with your visionary plans. The reverse meaning of this particular card is take your time and follow through with your pioneering plans. So again, it's just kind of moving swiftly, going towards your vision, which is really very much a leadership role. And then perseverance, right? Leadership and perseverance is really kind of what I'm taking away, is very much Aries attributes that I would use as themes throughout an Aries reading. So the snapshot on March 21st, the sun moves into Aries, the first sign of the Western zodiac, and remains there until April 19th. Each year, spring is ushered in with help from his fiery friend. A cardinal sign, Aries, represents powerful new beginnings, ruled by the planet Mars. Aries is the sign of the pioneer, the trailblazer, the athlete, and the adventure traveler. Think of their symbol as the ram charging full steam ahead. Aries natives do not shy away from conflict or competition. In fact, they thrive when challenged. If I don't compete, how can I win? And Aries might ask. So I definitely see like this being occupationally, definitely like a leadership role in like military. Do you know what I mean? Like, not that I would always be that, but or a leadership role as an athlete, or a leadership role maybe in government. So taking action, making decisions, and initiating plans are all very much part of the Aries wheelhouse. Excellent self-starters, Aries natives are inventively self-reliant and are usually the first ones to get the ball rolling on a new project. Teamwork is optional. Although Aries individuals love to start new projects and new adventures, they don't always have the stamina to see their visions through to fruition. But whatever they do decide to start is sure to begin with a bang. Medically, Aries rules the head, including the skull and face and adrenal glands in health readings. Aries is associated with headaches, migraines, fevers, accidents, especially to the head, adrenal function issues, and certain eye disorders. In balance, Aries natives are innovative self-starters, full of productive, fiery energy, and fearless in the pursuit of their individual passions. In balance, they embrace their pioneering ideas and use their fire to inspire and ignite others to set their sights high and to pursue their dreams with vigor and enthusiasm. Gloria Steinem, a pioneering warrior in the American feminist movement of 1960s and 70s, has both her sun and Mars conjunct in this courageous and groundbreaking sign. Out of balance, Aries natives can blur the lines between individualism and self-absorbed narcissism. Out of balance, they can pursue a singular, self-seeking passion to the point of alienating everyone around them. As a fire sign, they must be careful not to burn themselves out or those around them while in pursuit of their dreams. Out of balance, the desire Aries natives have for action can deteriorate into rash, impulsive behavior and poorly thought-out decisions. Out of balance, they can lack the patience it takes to stick with an idea or project long enough to see it reach a successful conclusion. An inspirational card reading, detailed, upright card messages, new beginnings. You have just received affirmation that yes, your idea is worth pursuing. Embrace the self-starter in you and charge ahead with your pioneering plans. Actions you take now will yield swift results. Every now and then, be sure to pause and ask yourself, am I listening to the opinions of others? Am I allowing others to contribute in order to expand on my vision? All leaders need to collaborate every once in a while. And so one of the things I kind of just gleaned right now from that little bit of reading is that not only is Aries that I am a self-starter, you can reverse this and say, am I a self-starter, right? So when you're doing a reading, when you see the Emperor, you may ask, am I self-starting? Am I taking a leadership role? And then whatever cards are around it, the question should kind of come up or kind of be sparked within you. And questions are always a good way to guide readings. The more questions that you ask, the more defined the questions are, the more likely you're going to get a concise answer. So, adventure brings an adventure into your life. Think of what exotic location you'd like to see, and then plan that trip. It doesn't have to be halfway around the world. It could be an unusual location just around the corner that you overlooked in the past. Activity, participate in your favorite sport or physical exercise. Rock climbing, running, and kickboxing are all favored. This is one day you can put away your yoga mat. In passionate pursuit, in relationship reading, the upright Aries card indicates a fast-moving relationship, one that might even sweep you off your feet. At least one partner is sure to be in passionate pursuit of the other. Aries and imbalanced Aries, or one who exhibits those qualities, may be influencing the outcome of your situation. So again, these are just kind of meanings that you can kind of attach a little bit more to the Emperor card. If you watch this video more than once, because you're really learning about Aries and how to read it within a reading or identify it within a reading, you'll be able to kind of take these meanings from all these different card decks and apply them to the original Emperor card if that's what you are looking to do. No, it's not the Emperor. The original Emperor. Oh, here we go. Here's my Emperor, dude. So yeah, if you're looking to kind of attribute more and more meanings and layer those meanings to the Emperor, you can use these different meanings that you're getting from all your different decks. And in this case, we're on this deck, The Fundamentals of Astrology by Heather Ariel. So then the detailed reverse card messages, right? So then we can just kind of turn this upside down. We can turn this upside down, and then we can start kind of looking at the attributes of a reversed Emperor in Aries, who is or an Aries in the reverse position, or Aries qualities in the reverse position. So patience is a virtue. Do your projects or relationships often start with a bang but end with a whimper. Now is the time to embrace consistency and balance. Know that you have what it takes to see your goals through to the finish line. So if I saw this in a reading, I might say don't give up, continue to persevere, right? Don't be a short finisher would be something else that would kind of come up for me, because oftentimes we'll get to the very pinnacle of what our success is and we'll kind of like, okay, I'm good, I got close enough. A lot of us do that. So temper in a relationship reading, the reverse Aries card may indicate a passionate but impulsive and impatient lover. As quickly as the relationship begins, it may end just as abruptly. There is also potential for aggression and inappropriate displays of anger by one or both partners. Aries is an out of balance Aries, or one who exhibits those qualities, may be influencing the outcome of your situation. All right, so moving on from the Emperor version of Aries. Oh, we got one more card, sorry. Sorry. This is from the astrological deck, or astrology deck, where you can actually do your own astrology wheel to get all of your planets and rising and what everything is in each of your houses. But this is actually, this just came out in 2021, like in November of 2021. Maybe it was even December. So this is a brand new deck for me to help me kind of learn the astrology behind tarot a little bit more as well. And this is the card that they associate. The thing that I don't like about this particular deck is that I wish I had more symbolism on the cards. So it says Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and represents the beginning of the astrology wheel, symbolized as a ram. Aries are action-oriented and ready to go. They're always passionate and excited for a new adventure. This feisty fire sign connects with the world through a courageous zeal and drive for success. Aries are fiercely independent and can often jump into something before fully ready. This is both a major blessing and a caution for this ambitious sign, as they are here to break boundaries with their trailblazing efforts. So, I don't know, I like some of the other definitions that got better. But ambition is kind of like the thing that I would take away from this particular card. So ambition, leadership qualities, perseverance, willpower, these are all attributes of the Aries. So I think now we can move on. We can move on from that part of the Aries sign and move into, I just wanted to kind of point these out because sometimes you'll find runes depicted. I don't have any decks, I don't think right now. I might have some decks that have runes in them, I just didn't notice. But these are the runes that you would use or if these came out in a rune reading, this would be equivalent to the Emperor card or Aries if you're using runes and you see this kind of combination. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of talk about these two. These two runes here, just so you just kind of have that background as well, because you can take meanings basically from any kind of divination concept and apply it to your tarot readings as well. And oftentimes people do in the artwork that is found within the tarot. So just to kind of give you a general idea of these runes, this is the letter Fehu, the letter F or Fahu. The theme is cattle or property. The keywords are wealth, currency, liquid. liquid assets, fertility, prosperity, abundance. The magical workings are drawing money and wealth, financial insight and wisdom, projecting energy, abundant workings. Key phrases are examine the purpose and nature of wealth, efforts pay off, good financial management, material wealth. So if I were to see this on an Emperor card in a reading, I may actually attribute that card more towards wealth than I would some of the foundational things of, but I would say like an authority in wealth. Like that card would be more of an authority about wealth rather than love or romance or pursuit of a new project or, but definitely it's still going to have that kind of leadership quality I would give if I was seeing this rune throughout a reading. And then if I was seeing these runes paired throughout a reading on a tarot card, then I would automatically kind of associate that with Aries, particularly with these two symbols here. So the symbol here is the pronunciation Uraz. The theme is aurochs or bison. So again, it's coming back to kind of property. Aries is a health sign, so we've got health here, and abundance. And the Emperor is really kind of like the King of Kings. So strong, steadfast to me is that perseverance kind of coming through again. Fearlessly moving towards, a goal. Headstrong, like a ram, not stopping just because there is an obstacle in the way or pushing through an obstacle. Again, we've got unstoppable here. The magical workings would be physical strength. So if we've got a military person we're seeing, or an athlete, might be something that we would see when we see the Emperor card. All dependent on what else what other cards are kind of paired in around it as well. But this one very much kind of really feels very Aries to me. This one makes me feel like, being that he is the King of Kings with these two kind of paired together, you're really kind of getting a sense of a persevering leader with these runes. So it says overcoming fear, breaking through obstacles, very much key features of the Aries sign. So key phrases: powerful driving force, fearless in most situations, strong male energy, and able to break through obstacles. If we put these cards in the reverse, we can kind of compare as to what we would see in the tarot in terms of meanings. But for the Fehu, it's ill fortune and bad luck, losing wealth and possessions. Wealth and property are holding you back, lacking resources. So this is kind of like the fallen emperor, right? He's been kind of kicked off of his throne. He's lost his wealth, his possessions, and that lack of resources are preventing him from moving forward, because Aries is a sign of action and moving forward. So then we've got like the authority figure, the leadership version side of the Aries personality, and that is represented by Uraz. And the key phrases for the reversed are brutish force, bullheadedness, lack of assertiveness, strength without intellect, intimidating, stubborn. So this might be a person who refuses to learn more, who already is a know-it-all, who already knows everything, who is more of a bully than a leader. He's not pushing through obstacles, he's pushing through people. And then, strength being kind of a brute, an athlete, kind of like, I almost put like, oh, it's so cliche, and I probably shouldn't say this, but like kind of like a dumb jock, strength without intellect, right? And then intimidation and stubbornness. Stubbornness is definitely a ram quality, but intimidating would be kind of an insecurity, right? An insecure emperor, somebody who is clinging to power instead of wielding and using power to achieve goals, I guess, and bringing people together. So I kind of wanted to just kind of go over that, where you can find the Aries symbol in in other different artworks. I don't know, like I said, there might be something in one of my card decks, my hundreds of card decks here, that have Fehu and the Uraz ruin, to just kind of add to a deeper meaning of the tarot card and the interpretation itself. So now I want to kind of go over fire. Fire is the Ace of Wands, right? This is the fire sign. And I also have it with the Tower. So the Ace of Wands is represented, is a representative card of fire, the element of fire. And you can see on this Ace of Wands for the Liberty, you're seeing the fire symbol here in a circle, which is an upward or an upright triangle. You'll see lots of red colors to represent both Mars and Aries. It is a fire sign. It's just very much, it's very much just kind of a passionate side. Where are you? So fire signs are born to love. They're romantic. They have quite a bit of intuition that they can tap into in order to overcome any obstacles that are kind of in their way. And their lesson is power, how to wield it, how to use it in a positive manner that, you know, influences the people around them. So you're going to see a lot of red colors when it comes to passion, but in particular in association with the planet Mars, which is the ruling planet for Aries. So I'm just going to kind of pull out these different cards. In this particular card, there's a portion of the Kether, which is like, I think it's like the crown chakra, but if you know more about the Tree of Life than I do, please, you know, put the answer down below, because I'm still actually learning it. But here you can see the Ace of Wands representing the fire sign. It's got the diamond. So diamond is associated with Aries, but it's also associated with fire. Everything about Aries is really kind of attributed in all of the cards that we see in terms of the fire sign, particularly is intelligence, right? So we're looking at intelligence. And then intelligence and power is really kind of what we're looking at when we're looking at fire signs like Aries. So this one says, Lord of the root of the power of fire. And then when we kind of get into just the celestial one, this is the very beginning intro deck that you can buy on Etsy. But fire affects Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The attributes are spontaneous, passionate, assertive. The personality trait is imaginative, impulsive, creative, enthusiastic, and leaders. So again, with the Aries sign, you can really kind of attribute a lot of leadership qualities to Aries. So fire in the upright, ready to launch, be bold and resolute. It's time to take action. In the reverse, it's failure to launch, right? Not able to move forward or not taking action. Are your energy reserves running low? Take time out to relax and recharge. And then the last one for the astrology deck, fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius are the most passionate and zestful signs of the zodiac. They express themselves with motivation and determination, and sometimes through sheer force. You may need to grab the extinguisher if things get heated with fire sign, as their impulsive actions may lead to some real destruction. But even if they are quick to argue, they are also first to forgive and will step up for the underdog in a fight. They are also extremely loyal and generous. Their smoldering sensuality is ultra passionate, making them among the sexiest signs in the zodiac. So just to kind of give you, you know, an elemental version of the association of Aries in the tarot. So you know, you see a lot of fire, a lot of wands. Again, you might be looking at Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, depending on where the cards are laid out. And then if you get the Emperor with like the 1, 2, 3, and 4 of wands, it's probably likely you're looking at an Aries, right? Because those are the cards that are associated with Aries. Next, we're going to move on to the cardinal, just because there's a lot more about Mars that I kind of want to go over as the ruling planet for Aries. But the cardinal is, there are three modes. The modes represent the three basic qualities of life. They're also called quadruplicities because of four signs in each of these. There are four signs instead of like three signs, like for the fire, water, air, and earth. Those each contain three signs, but in the cardinal, it contains four signs. And the cardinal signs initiate and set the tone for a season. So they're very dynamic. And we know that Aries is very dynamic because they're going after things. They have to change on a dime or shift on a dime in order to overcome obstacles and to achieve their goals. So the initiates of this would be assertive, self-starters, leaders. And again, that's something that we're seeing throughout and any Aries influence. And so then action is start, create, begin, and birth. So very much action, leaders, moving forward, self-starting, overcoming obstacles, perseverance are all attributes again of the cardinal aspect of the astrological sign of Aries. So when you get cardinal anything in a reading, if maybe you're looking at cards and somebody has utilized the cardinal, like the bird, in a reading or in the artwork itself, if you've got that paired with the Emperor, again, you may think, oh, that's definitely going to be Aries, but you're just intuiting that from the pictures, and you're only going to really mention it if it's something that you notice, like cardinal in the images. So it says you're going to make it after all, embrace change and new beginnings. It's up to you to manifest your dreams. And then in the reverse, it says enjoy the collaboration. In order to succeed in this situation, teamwork is required. So an Aries self-starter as a cardinal, it may be difficult for cardinal signs to ask for help, that they feel that they are capable of doing it all on their own. But in a teamwork environment, collaboration is kind of key in getting the best results sometimes. So for the astrology deck, it says Cardinal, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn are the cardinal qualities. These qualities represent leadership within the zodiac. Aries, the first zodiac sign, indicates the spring or astrological new year and the birth or beginning of something. Cancer is the sign of summer solstice energy and the abundant wellspring of the divine feminine. Libra balances our scales with the full equinox, indicating we have made it halfway through the year. Capricorn brings us to the end of the cycle as we spiritually hibernate with the winter solstice. And I want to just kind of add to this because it's not here. Aries, we are seeing more of a masculine energy to Aries, using the because it is represented by the Emperor in the card. So I want to say, if Cancer is the feminine, the divine feminine, then definitely Emperor is going to be representative of the divine masculine. Okay, so we are through the cardinals. We're through the fire. We're through the Emperor and the minor arcanas, I think, on some level. Maybe we haven't gone through that yet. But the one thing I definitely wanted to touch on was Mars. Mars is the ruling planet for Aries, and so it is also going to influence the characteristics and the attributes of an Aries. It's represented, Mars is represented by the tarot, whoopsies. Here we go. Mars. Red planet. It is ruled by the tower, or it rules the tower in the tarot deck. And so in this deck here, in the celestial deck, it's saying that the phrase is I act, whereas in the other one it said I am. So I act as the leader. I am the leader. am successful, I act successful. Either, So it says transit signs are every 6 to 7 weeks. Aggression, desire, competition. So if you see kind of like the Tower with the Emperor, you might deduce that this person is an athlete, right? Or in the military, or something that has to do where they're in a competition, right? Or they're the leader of a competition. So it also is passion, sex, drive, energy, and impulse. And we know that the fire signs are definitely passionate and definitely impulsive. And, even like the Knight of Wands is kind of like in the reverse, kind of like a player a little bit. He's just kind of like there for the party, there to conquer kind of. So you're very much, so again, these are just kind of attributes that Mars, is going to have in terms of the roles that, or attributes of people or situations. It's just kind of give you an idea of the influences. So if I see Emperor and Tower, I'm probably going to think, okay, there's likely some sort of Aries, Aries in the reading. There's some sort of Aries in the reading, whether it be a sun sign or a moon sign or some sort of rising. So Mars, it says get physical. This kind of runs, kind of jives with the whole Emperor, athlete kind of thing. But it says walk, run, swim, or try your hand in the ring. It's time to get moving. And I like that they use try your hand in the ring simply because it is very athletic kind of energy for getting physical and taking action and moving. So assert yourself. A conflict is brewing. Time to face it head on. The situation will be resolved in your favor. So I really feel like the Aries sign really utilizes a lot of the Mars energy to just kind of keep moving forward and taking action and competition. And then here's, of course, the Tower, which is representative of Mars, an influence in Aries. All right. We got some more stuff here for Mars. It says Mars, also known as the warrior planet, is the planet of action, determination. Mars is associated with confidence, courage, and ambition in life, and governs how we fight with others, how we protect ourselves and those we care about, our intimate desires, and our aggressive and competitive side. It also represents our carnal passions, sexuality, and lust for life. Mars changes signs approximately every 1.5 months, except when in retrograde. So these are just kind of some other symbolic kind of these are other symbols of Mars in the different kind of cards that are available. So here you've got what do we have here? I'm not seeing it so much in here. Oh, here it is right here. We've got like the little Mars symbol right here to show that it's being attributed to Mars. It says Lord of the hosts of the mighty. You can see the tree of life here. You can see, here it is, this big Mars symbol right there. And it's almost like we have the light side and the dark side of the tree of life. But again, I don't know very much about that, so that's all we'll touch on. The Liberty Tarot is very much the same. It looks like we've got some sort of lion with snake head, or a snake body with a lion head. We've got a peaceful kind of dove over here. But typical Tower card, it's chaos essentially, earth shattering, so to speak. And here you can see, let's see, they're using the Hebrew symbol La Maison Dieu, or Pei. La Maison Dieu is probably French for the Tower. Pei is number, is the letter for this Hebrew letter here. And the Hebrew letters, I think, all have their own like meaning. They're almost like a word. So if you know what the Hebrew letters actually mean, you can certainly let me know. It is between Hod, 8 and Netjack 7 of the life path, which is path number 27. And the Tower is also related to the Garnet, which, associated with Mars being the red planet. And then again, with the Emperor as kind of tying this to the Emperor as a Mars sign. Okay. When we get into 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands, and 4 of Wands, now we're kind of really looking at the Deacons. Okay, so additional cards that kind of represent Aries. I didn't have this out before because we have the Queen of Wands out. Really, the Queen of Wands for me is very much a Leo card, but it is a fire sign, or it does represent fire. And I would almost venture to say that this is more of the feminine side of Aries. And for her, it represents, there we go, the first decan of Pisces in Aries, which is between March 11th and April 10th. So if you get this kind of in the outcome section, not only could it be a person who is Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, it can mean spring, and more specifically between March 11th and April 10th. When we move into the 2 of Wands, we are looking at, where'd it go? Yes, when we look into the 2 of Wands, you're seeing more, where did it go? Here we go. The 2 of Wands is more of like their dominion, right? It's definitely Aries still. It establishes strength, realization of hope, pride, and sometimes arrogance. So again, these are kind of attributes that you see, only just maybe refined slightly for this position of the Wands, which is really kind of like the dominion. Okay, what is he's looking over his world and what he has control over, right? And here's just like the 2 of Wands. Lord of Dominion is the name of this card, actually. You can see the fire sign. You can see the Aries sign here, as well as the Mars symbol. And lots of fire here. We've got Aries and Mars again here. We even got Mars into on the wands themselves, at the base of these wands here. So here, similar in attribute, we're kind of seeing the lightning. We see lots of reds to kind of denote the fire. We're seeing the Aries and the Mars symbols here in the outer space section of it. We can move on to the Shokama, which is part of, what is that one? Yep, it's number 2 in the Tree of Life. I have no idea what the life path it is, but it looks like in the Hebrew, these words here mean at Zeluth, which I don't know what that means. So if you know what that means, let us know in the comments. And then we move on to the 2 of Wands here. What I think in this particular one, we've got, it looks like what's like an opal kind of in the center there. And then we also have kind of like a crystal ball of some sort. We've got like, the 2 of Wands is associated with the eyes. Again, this is in terms of the body. It's Aries rules the head. And then it's fire sign we've got there, and then we've got Aries and Mars kind of represented in here. Again, it's about intelligence. We're Aries and Wands and are all about kind of the life path of intelligence. And then here we've got some turquoise, which kind of means protection from negative energies. And then here we go. This is just another one, Dominion, very similar to the Lord of Dominion, right? And then we can move on to the 3 of Wands. And the 3 of Wands, it's established strength, realization of hope, pride, and arrogance. So I just, he's looking across the desert, and maybe he's looking, I gotta cross that, right? And he's like, I got the strength to do it. And I have hope and pride, and I'm arrogant enough to try. But it says Lord of established strength in this particular. And I want to say that's like internal personal fortitude and the strength to persevere is how I would kind of define that Three of Wands there and how it relates to Aries. Here in this particular card, you can see that it relates, Aries is related to the sun in this card. And so there's little sun symbols all around here. So we got Aries here, we got sun symbol here, we've got Aries here and a sun symbol here, and then we've got Aries here and a sun symbol here, and then another sun here. So this is going to be kind of just fortitude, perseverance, strength kind of interpretations again. Movement forward, right? Going after your goals again with the eye, the actual physical attributes of Aries is going to be in the head, again with intelligence. And what's interesting to me about that is that swords is typically depicted as the mind and thoughts. So I think this is more biological in the sense that this person has a bigger brain, that they're intelligent like Mr. Einstein. And this has more to do with vision, or the Three of Wands in particular has more to do with vision of intelligence rather than just straight, illuminating intelligence, right? So this is Sanctifying Intelligence is this one. And it looks like, I'm not really sure what stone that is. I'm sure if we read it, we could find out. But it is represented by the letter Bina. And I've seen that in multiple places. This is the Bina is on the Tree of Life, so it just takes up a little part of that. And I wish I could tell you more about the Tree of Life, but I'm just not there yet. And then number 3, the Three of Wands in the Thoth Tarot, it is virtue, right? So the virtue is strength, the strength to move forward towards what maybe even seem as an impossible kind of goal. And that's kind of what Aries is known for, is persevering, taking action, being a leader in what might be considered impossible, but isn't when Aries is in charge. So moving on to the Four of Wands. We'll kind of pull these out here. I like doing this one next. There's so much symbolism in this. So we've got some geese in here. We've got our rams, right? We've got our symbolism of the ram here. We've got the symbolism of Venus. We have some like eagle wings again that we're seeing. There's quite a bit of fire here. I would say for myself, just like for the Four of Wands, this feels like much more of a feminine card to me. So if you're dealing with an Aries in the feminine and you see, the Queen of Wands pop out and then you see the Four of Wands pop out, it may be more than just kind of like a union or a happy family. It might be a union and happy family with an entrepreneurial Queen of Wands or an entrepreneurial female Aries or leader female Aries, just a leader, some sort of entrepreneurial kind of like leader or self-starting leader of the feminine. And in the fourth, for the Four of Wands, it's perfected work, perfection, rest after labor, and then settled its arrangement and kind of completion. So this is kind of like the after, I don't want to say the aftermath of a project, but it is a project that has been completed successfully, right? And this represents April 11th to April 20th. It's ruled by Venus, and it's on the chesed part of the Tree of Life, which again I don't have enough information on to really kind of talk about it, but you can see the Hebrew letters that are kind of used. I like that there's kind of a unicorn here, but I really feel like this says cohesive and receptacular. the vision of love. And I just feel like it's a project kind of that has kind of come to fruition as a result of Aries leadership kind of qualities. So again, it's another completion card in the Thoth Tarot as well. So I hope you found some of these definitions and kind of some of these associations related to Aries and these cards related to Aries helpful to you. So to just kind of recap, the Emperor, it represents Aries through these rams that you see at the top of his chair and also on the armrests of his chair. He's kind of a he is the king of kings. He's a leader. He perseveres. He has quite a bit of willpower. He's passionate. He's brave. Oftentimes can be in the military. He thrives with competition. He might even be an athlete, right? So I'm just going to read these quick cards again. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and represents the beginning of the astrology wheel. Symbolized as a ram, Aries are action-oriented and ready to go. They are always passionate and excited for a new adventure. This feisty fire sign connects with the world through a courageous zeal and drive for success. Aries are fiercely independent and can often jump into something before fully ready. This is both a major blessing and a caution for the ambitious sign, as they are here to break boundaries with their trailblazing efforts. So if I'm not working with an Aries in a reading, then I might be like, the person that I'm talking to or giving a reading for is an ambitious person. I'm going to do fire just because it was mentioned in this definition. But the fire sign, you know, very much passion, assertiveness, imaginative, impulsive, creative, enthusiastic, and again, a leadership quality. So Aries are very, very leader oriented, and it is represented by the Ace of Wands, just like so. Fire is Ace of Wands. Aries is the Emperor. When we moved into Mars, its attributes are kind of aggression, desire, competition, passion, sex, drive, energy, and impulse. So Mars is also known as the warrior planet. It is the planet of action and determination. Mars is associated with confidence, courage, ambition in life, and governs how we fight with others, how we protect ourselves and those we care about, our intimate desires, and our aggressive and competitive side. It also represents our carnal passions, sexuality, lust for life. Mars changes signs approximately every 1.5 months, except when in retrograde. And Mars, which is the ruling planet of Aries, is represented by the tower in the major arcana of the tarot. So then moving on to the deacons of Aries, this is kind of more of a timing thing. We've kind of already gone over, these are passionate cards, these are fiery cards, these are action cards. So Pisces, if we're doing timing, the Queen of Wands would represent the Pisces and Aries, March 11th, right here, March 11th through April 10th. This would be Mars in Aries, which is March 21st to the 30th. Then we've got the Sun in Aries, March 31st to April 10th, and Venus in Aries, April 11th to the 20th. So I hope you found this kind of assessment of the sign Aries useful. When you're doing the readings, a question, the question to ask is, am I, right? Or are you? But am I? And attributes would be like, I am. So let me know how you liked this video, if it was informative and educational for you, and maybe will even help you in your own readings and deciphering the tarot in terms of timing or people, or just attributes of people. So if you'd be kind enough to like, subscribe, and share, I would love to hear your comments and anything that you think I may have missed or should have included in terms of the sign for Aries in relationship to the tarot. Thank you so very much for joining me on this little journey about learning about the Aries symbol, and I hope you have a blessed, wonderful, delightful day.